The Amazon is the largest rainforest on Earth, stretching across South America like a vast living world that has never truly known peace. It is a place where life explodes with astonishing density, where countless species crowd together, all struggling to exist within a space full of limits. Sunlight rarely manages to break through the thick canopy to reach the forest floor. As a result, resources become far scarcer than one might imagine. Water, meanwhile, shapes nearly every movement of life here, from how creatures find food to how they travel, hide, and hunt. Each flood season feels like the forest is rewritten all over again. The landscape shifts, pathways disappear, and shelters are swallowed beneath rising waters. In that world, no species can survive without adapting. In the Amazon, survival is a strict rule, and every creature must answer it in its own way. Some species choose to tie their lives to the water. The giant otter is one of them. They live along the rivers of the Amazon and are the largest freshwater otters in the world. Unlike many other predators, otters do not live alone. They exist in tightly bonded family groups, where every call and every movement carries life or death meaning. Living in groups increases their chances of survival, reduces risk for each individual, and creates a kind of strength that no single animal could ever have on its own. In a watery environment, communication is not just about connection. It is also about warning of danger and coordinating the hunt. The rivers provide an abundant source of food, but they also serve as the fastest escape route when danger appears. Yet those same waters attract countless predators, especially along the forest's edge, where land, water, and shadow blend together. Danger's never far away. In contrast to the otter's social lifestyle is a predator that turns solitude into its greatest strength. That predator is the jaguar, the largest big cat in the Americas and one of the most formidable rulers of the Amazon rainforest. In the dense jungle, where long chases are almost meaningless, jaguars do not rely on sustained speed. They depend on patience, silence, and the ability to disappear into their surroundings. Their distinctive patterned coat allows their bodies to melt into the shifting patches of light and shadow in the forest. When the distance is close enough, their true power is revealed. The jaguar's bite force is one of the most effective weapons in the predator world. They typically live alone, as this lifestyle reduces competition and helps them defend their territory more effectively. Some individuals have almost entirely black coats, making them even harder to detect in the dark forest. Jaguars are often found near rivers, because where there is water, prey tends to gather. This allows them not only to hunt efficiently, but also to regulate prey populations, helping maintain balance across the entire ecosystem. But in the Amazon, danger does not come only from the ground or the forest's edge. Beneath the murky waters of flooded regions, another force quietly rules. That is the green anaconda, the heaviest snake in the world. Adult females can reach weights of over 440 pounds, which is about 200 kilograms, a size that would be an enormous burden on land. But in the water, that heavy body is supported. The water helps them conserve energy, move more efficiently, and turn into near-perfect ambush predators. Most of an anaconda's life takes place in flooded areas, where it hides among mud, grasses, and slow-moving currents. The flood season expands its territory, while the dry season shrinks its space and limits movement. Because of that, patience becomes a vital trait for survival. Their massive size means very few animals dare to confront them directly. As apex predators of the wetlands, anacondas help control animal populations in the area, keeping the balance from being disrupted. However, not every predator that lives in the water relies on sheer weight or ambush tactics. In the open ocean, where there is no forest cover to hide in and no muddy banks to wait beside, predators must evolve in a completely different way. The hammerhead shark is one of the clearest examples. They live in warm waters, from coastal areas to the open sea, and can be recognized instantly by their unusually wide, flattened heads. That shape does not just give them a strange appearance, it provides a major advantage in hunting. It expands their field of vision, improves depth perception, and enhances the effectiveness of their electroreception system. With this sense, they can detect the faint electrical signals of prey, even when it is hiding. Unlike predators that rely on short bursts of speed, hammerhead sharks depend more on endurance, wide-range patrols, and highly refined senses to gain the upper hand. Some species even form temporary groups, helping with navigation and increasing safety during long journeys. As adults, they have very few natural predators, making them one of the top hunters of the open ocean. Yet not every creature survives by becoming a dominant predator. Some species endure through defense, energy conservation, and resilience over time. River turtles in the Amazon are a perfect example. They live in rivers, lakes, and flooded areas, moving slowly through a world full of danger. But speed has never been their strategy. Their hard shells solve the problem of survival in a completely different way. The shell protects vital organs and significantly reduces the risk of a successful attack. At the same time, their low energy consumption allows them to live long lives and better withstand seasonal changes. When floodwaters rise, their living space expands. When the dry season arrives, movement may become more difficult, but it is not enough to break them. This slow but steady strategy allows turtles to persist in an ever-changing environment. In the Amazon, survival does not always belong to the fastest or the strongest. Sometimes it belongs to the ones that last the longest. But the Amazon is not only about the ground and the water. Above the massive tree trunks lies another world, a layer of forest almost separate from the rest, where there is more light but no fewer challenges. The canopy creates its own habitat, and many species have chosen to live there to avoid some of the dangers below. Primates are the masters of this space. They spend most of their lives high above the ground, where long arms, flexible bodies, and a strong sense of balance become decisive advantages. Up there, raw strength matters less than agility. The height allows them to detect danger earlier, and sound travels farther through the canopy, helping group members warn each other in time. But life in the treetops is not easy. Food is scattered, forcing them to move constantly across branches, gaps, and layers of leaves. Every movement requires precise calculation because even a small mistake can come at a serious cost. From otters in the rivers, to jaguars in the dense forest, to anacondas in the flooded wetlands, to resilient river turtles and primates high in the canopy, the Amazon reveals an unchanging truth. No layer of the forest is ever completely safe, and there is no single formula for survival. Every species is forced to find its own path to adapt to the pressures of the environment. Some rely on teamwork, others rely on solitude. Some use strength, others use patience. Some depend on their senses, while others survive through defense and energy conservation. It is this diversity that reduces direct competition and allows them to coexist, maintaining the fragile balance of this vast ecosystem. But that balance has never been permanent. With every rising flood and every retreating waterline, the Amazon pushes the limits of life once again. What exists today is the result of countless adaptations, countless changes, and countless silent struggles that have never truly stopped. Here, adaptation is not an advantage. It is a requirement for survival. And in this unforgiving world known as the Amazon, balance itself is survival.